Does anybody remember Monday when we were all really, really angry that there's a generation of kids that have been turned into mind-numb climate shriekers, and they were screaming? Hell, that was like 3 years ago, right? It was 5 days ago. You know, it's incredible because we assumed, we were talking about it, we assumed, and by the way, thanks, Michael, for introducing me. My name's Dave Sussman, those that don't know me. I have a show on America's Voice News. It is a new platform. We're going against Fox because, quite frankly, Lachlan and James are really pulling it away from conservative, true conservative news. Find America's Voice News. I have a 2-hour show every day called America's Voice Live. I also have a show on there called Whiskey Politics, and I do Real Side Radio. I sit in for Joe every once in a while as a guest host, which is on 52 stations on the GCN and Salem Radio Network. So anyway, you know, the whole thing about this impeachment is that we assume that Nancy Pelosi, as much as we all disagree with Nancy Pelosi, that she is a strategist. You do not become Speaker of the House twice in a lifetime without knowing something a little bit about politics. Okay, and hopefully Deanna's going to take her to task on all of this. But she realized that the left was pulling the party all the way to the left, to pure socialism. And we thought, well, she's a moderate. She realizes that America's not going to vote for AOC plus 3. And what happened on Tuesday? What happened on Tuesday? She caved. Listen, some say California, and we got some incredible candidates here. Some say California doesn't matter anymore. That's lost. It's lost. And that may be true when it comes to the Electoral College. But as everybody's been talking about here today, it's about who controls the House. The Democrats took Congress in 2018, some by say hook or crook. While North Carolina founded that they needed a special election because they had something there called voter harvesting, which is against the law in North Carolina. And we just had a special election where Bishop, he just won the special election a couple of weeks ago in North Carolina. That was because of voter harvesting. Does anybody know that? Well, what's going on here in California? They made voter harvesting legal. AB 1921 is the name of this bill. And what AB 1921 does is it allows anybody to walk into an elections office and hand over buckets of mail-in votes that you could have gone to people's homes and asked for. You do not have to be an elected official. You do not have to be a candidate. You do not have to be working in that precinct. You could be anybody. You could be us. And you can go into somebody's home and walk up and down the street and force people to vote your way. No verified records are kept. This is known as granny farming. And as polls closed on election day 1 year ago, November of 2018, 6 California Republican House candidates, including Representatives Dana Rohrabacher, Steve Knight, Mimi Walters, were ahead in their respective races. However, as the absentee and provisional ballots all came in, over the intervening days, weeks, months, all 6 lost to Democrat opponents. And the case of Korean-American GOP candidate Young Kim was one of the most prominent examples. Kim held an 8,000 vote lead over her Democrat opponent, Gil Cisneros, and even attended freshman orientation in Washington, D.C. Watching her lead and her victory slowly evaporate over the subsequent weeks. In fact, California has gone so far that the recent state audit revealed over 255,000 votes are registration errors due to drivers automatically being registered as per the motor voter bill. They are registering illegal aliens. And I will say the word. I'm a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. I came here as a child. I got a green card, and it took me 12 years to wait in that long legal line. And I know more about this country because I have to take a test that most high school students know. I have no issue, and I know nobody in this room has an issue with legal immigrants. But they're registering illegal aliens, voters being assigned to the wrong party, and duplicates, meaning people can and do vote twice. And the Democrats know this. This is why they've given the most important committee leadership positions to the most angry, the most vitriolic partisans that they can manage. House Intelligence Committee Adam Schiff. This man spent 2 years, Eric, as you were just saying, been lying to the media, running out to America and suggesting he saw proof of Russian collusion at all of his secret meetings. And he knew that this would lead the Democrat media at night with no questions asked. And this week, he made up his Ukraine transcript out of whole cloth. He opened a House Intelligence Committee with something that could have been written by Martin Scorsese. He knew that the mainstream media would replay his lies and that many in the country, low information voters, would accept those lies as truth. Impeachment is one of the most, if not the most polarizing political events that we can have in this country. We're talking about removing a duly elected president of the United States, and this fool, this liar, this chairman of the Intelligence Committee outright made up his own version of a phone call with Trump and Zelensky, a call that they are now using to impeach this president. Adam Schiff needs to be removed. He needs to be removed first from his leadership position. He needs to be removed from Congress altogether, Eric Early, and apologize to America for his blatant lies, which he knew would be repeated by the Democrat media. Completely made up transcript. I was watching Tucker Carlson the other night. He said, Eric Schiff is a man who chairs the mighty House Intelligence Committee. We trust him with the country's most sensitive information, yet he is clearly and demonstrably mentally ill.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Works for Hillary.
Financial Services Committee, Maxine Waters. She heads the Financial Services Committee, probably one of the most corrupt members of Congress. In the midst of a national financial catastrophe 10 years ago, Representative Maxine Waters used her position as a senior member of Congress and a member of the House Financial Services Committee. She prevailed upon the Treasury officials to meet with One United Bank. She never disclosed that her husband had stock in that bank. This outrageous conduct led Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, D.C. to include this congresswoman as one of the most corrupt members of Congress. And her daughter, Maxine's daughter, Karen, has collected more than $750,000 in, quote, unquote, professional fees from mailing from her campaign. Today, it's about taking back the House. For this is the House who are doing nothing for the American people. They are, instead of fighting illegal immigration at the border, they want open borders. Instead of working with the president on health care legislation and lowering our prescription drugs, they spend their time focused on investigations. Instead of finding workable solutions that can both protect the public while at the same time protecting our Second Amendment rights, they openly tell us what they've been saying to us for years. We knew they were saying this. The media were pretending that they won't. They're going to come for your guns. And Beto and the rest of them are now saying it. Don't believe in slippery slope anymore, media? Instead of working to prevent the shutdown of free speech online and on campus, they're supporting Antifa and the radical leftists who use violence to suppress all of our voices and our rights to be heard. Second Amendment, First Amendment. They're going after it. And instead of finding bipartisan solutions to help with the homeless crisis, we see in Democrat-run cities, in Democrat-run states, they pass laws only to inflame the problem, releasing criminals on the streets and preventing the deportation of murderers, illegal alien murderers. This is today's Democratic Party. And they have now shown their push for socialism. and complete control over you and your rights, and they will stop at nothing by hook or by crook. The socialist takeover and the control of this two major parties, they want to control one, that is nothing less than a clear and present danger. Become active, and most importantly, get your family and get your friends involved. We may be few in here. They're out there. They're watching this, and we need to speak to their friends. Thanks to Michael for everything he's doing. Thanks to all of you patriots. And let's take back the House.